In this mini-series, we're taking a look at all 30 athletes competing at this year's World's Strongest Man. We're going to be looking at their story so far, how we think they'll do in the events, and how we rate their overall chances. And today's athlete is Latvian Aivars Smaukstelis. Auntie Liz, tell us all about Aivars Smaukstelis.
There's a lot to say about Aivars. He first started competing in the Strongman Champions League back in 2014. And he's one of those athletes who's kind of stuck with it. And he is so experienced. He's done 47 international competitions. He's won 16 of them. This is a man with incredible experience competing all over the world on lots of different types of kit. And while he doesn't have like huge banker events, maybe, he's such a consistent athlete.
He's very solid across the board. And as you mentioned, he's got that great experience. The guys like JF Karan have that type of experience and they are able to cope in all different situations. He's been through everything. When you've competed in 47 internationals and you've won 16 of them, you've coped with every single situation you can expect at a competition. Changing of events, weather conditions.
The deadlift Strength Island, he still came third overall in that competition.
He's been in all sorts of situations, so he won't be fazed by the pressures of World's Strongest Man. That is a big advantage. And Aivars is one of those athletes. He won't be seeded,
no,
but he will be an athlete that the seeds will not want in their group.
2019, he was the Strongman Champions League overall winner. He's only made the finals of World's Strongest Man once, but to be fair to Aivars, last year he found himself in a group with Brian Shaw and Maxime Boudreau, who ended up coming second and third, so that turned out to be quite a stacked group.
He's definitely had some tough groups, and because he's not seeded, he's always going to get tough groups, but he's capable. He sneaked into the final before beating some big names, and no one wants to see, they don't want to see those groups revealed and see his name in their group.
So let's get straight into the events then. And event one in the heats is the loading race.
And this is an event he can win. 2020 World's Strongest Man, he was in a group with the likes of Brian Shaw, Terry Hollands, Nick Best, Luke Stoltman, and Aivars won the loading against them. He's performed exceptionally well in loading events many times. He copes with all different sorts of objects. He can kind of adapt to different environments, he sounds like a superhero.
Yeah.
He is that type of athlete. He'll stay calm, he moves quickly, and he's great at loading. So getting off to a good start, it puts the afterburners behind you and you kind of feel confident moving on to the next event. If he can start well, he puts the pressure on everyone in his group.
So the next event is the deadlift ladder. And now this is something we saw Aivars do not that long ago at Europe's Strongest Man. And if I'm remembering correctly, he only lifted 3 of them.
Yeah, he only got 3. And I've got to say, deadlift has never been his favourite event. I expect him to be better than 3 come World's Strongest Man. He wasn't in his best shape for Europe. He's just getting back into training. He's definitely capable of doing 4, but he's not someone you'll see as a monster deadlifter. He's got that consistency, and I think if he can time things well, he can get himself a few points, but this will be an event he does drop points in.
Next in the heats is the car walk, and we don't have a lot of information about that for Aivars.
Well, I've seen him do yokes a number of times, and he's solid. He's a higher mid-table type yoke racer. I don't expect him to be kind of dominating it, but he can score points. And in a group that doesn't have people that are exceptionally fast, he could even sneak up into first, second place. But again, he'll be a solid performer. 3rd place, he'll be pretty happy on that.
Next is the wrecking ball hold, which is a grip test, and Aivars has some pretty groovy grip, doesn't he?
He's got an exceptional grip. I see Aivars very similar to myself when it comes to grip strength. You're not quite the elite like Mark Felix, Iron Bibby, Evan Singleton, but you just come just below them, and then you have the likes of Aivars, myself, and JF Karan, and we were all very similar in terms of what we could do on a Hercules hold or a grip type event. Aivars exceptional when it comes to farmers walks for distance. He's performed very, very well on Hercules hold type events before. I expect big points from Aivars. At worst, a second place finish.
Next is the log lift for reps, around about 150 kilos.
And this is a weight that suits him. He's not the best when it comes to log lift for max, but when we look into the history, I'm always delving into what they've done in competition. He actually does very well on log for rep type events. He's got a great engine on him. He's very, very fit, surprisingly for a man that smokes. But he does, his endurance is very, very good. Every single time you see him, he's performing well right up until the end of a competition, and he's good on those events that normally people are kind of gassing on.
Yeah.
He's got that endurance. His log for reps is very, very good. I don't think there's a better, other than dumbbell perhaps, there's not a better overhead for him. He will be happy to see, particularly if it's 150 in the heats. If it's 160, 170, he'd probably like it less. That 150 just comes into that range where he's very good and he can get a decent number. He cleans every rep nice and efficiently, and he can just keep grinding reps out.
So if Aivars doesn't win the group and he finds himself in second or third place, he will have to do the stone off.
And this is the kind of position we're probably going to expect to see him in. I don't think he's going to be a group winner. He doesn't have enough weapons, but that consistency could well get him into the stone off, and he's a very, very good stone lifter. We've seen that time and time again. Performs exceptionally well. He can rep stones over, no problem at all. And I mentioned just before, he's got that endurance, he's got that stamina to just keep getting that stone back. So his stones are good. He's definitely going to make himself a nuisance for everyone in his group.
So Aivars is one of those. I think he's got a really good chance of making it to the final. If he does, how do we think he does there?
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think he's going to be one of those athletes that's going to be battling it out, trying to get into that stone off. And I think if he gets into the stone off, he could well make the final. He has some good events in the final. I'm not going to go into every single event because a lot of them are similar. But the two events you've really got to look out for Aivars if he makes the final. Firstly, the knack boxes into the yoke. He's great at loading. He's very solid at the yoke. He can score big points there. And he's one of the absolute best when it comes to power stairs. So if he gets into that final, power stairs could be an event he wins. He won it at Europe's Strongest Man. He's won it in a number of other competitions before. He likes that event, has consistently done exceptionally well. So they're the two events I would look out for him when it comes to the final.
So I know we're Switzerland and we don't have favourites, but Aivars is one of my favourites. So I'm really hoping personally that he does great and just makes the final. I'll be really pleased to see Aivars in the
I think he's got a great chance. I don't see Aivars as a threat to the title.
No, not
but he's definitely an athlete that could make the final and cause problems for some of the really big seeds. Take points off them where they want them. He's that type of athlete that can be a pain in the backside if you're one of the big guys trying to win.
So guys, let us know what you think and make sure you've got notifications switched on so you don't miss any episodes in this series.